do is I just maintain them the entire time. So whilst I'm filming on something 24/7, I speak in the accent that I'm speaking, and eventually it just becomes natural.
So you wouldn't say whilst if you were speaking American? And my co-host,
no.
Allison Bales, is English, and she says things like
right.
margarine and things like that, and
right.
you can tell the difference. But
no,
when you're on a movie, when the scene is being finished, you stay in your mind?
I stay in it. With the voice when I'm out at dinner with people 24/7.
Is it a burden?
No, because it's strange to begin with, but after a while it becomes so natural that I have to actually think, right, okay, I'll go back to English, and it takes a while for me to get back to English.
Now, when you do a thing where you lose a lot of weight for a movie, or you gain a lot of weight from it, mostly so far you've lost a lot of weight, and then you have to gain it back, when you get to be 40, 45, you have to worry about health issues with that. If that kind of a role would come back again, like Rescue Down, for example,
right.
would you think about that, or go after it and see and accept
the compliment? But I'm thinking about it a little more carefully than I have done in the past.
Are you tired of people asking you only about Heath Ledger in this movie because of the fact that he passed away?
Well, look, I mean, you know, there was a circus which I really didn't think was very respectful. Mm-hmm. I'm completely happy, and I actually like talking about his performance because I think it's phenomenal. I like talking about working with him because I enjoyed it to no end. I love the immersion that he put into the Joker. I think he's created a real classic character that will live for ages. You know, this kind of a punk rock, anarchic approach to the Joker. I'm completely happy to say he steals the movie. He should do. You know, it's a phenomenal character. All of that I'm very happy to speak about. I just don't want to get into any kind of amateur psychology or have any desire to be talking about anything that is personal to him.
Good
you know,
for you.
that I feel is a private thing, and it's for his family, and I refuse to speak about any of that.
Ben Johnson was a great actor from Oklahoma, Pawhuska, Oklahoma. He played Melvin Purvis.
Right. Very different Melvin Purvis from what I'm playing.
I can imagine. The movie Public Enemies.
I went down. I spent time with Melvin's remaining family. I spent time in South Carolina in his hometowns, and believe me, he was not some. First of all, he was 30 years old when he took down Dillinger. This is one of the few occasions when Hollywood is actually doing it right. You know, usually you get these characters, they're 50, and they say, yeah, we're going to make him 30. I was actually 4 years older than Purvis when he took down Dillinger. But believe me, the Ben Johnson, fine as Ben Johnson is, and he's a wonderful actor, and you got Warren Oates, and he's fantastic in that as well. But he was not the cigar chomping, running in with the machine guns. He was a far more cerebral man.
Now, the morning after Dillinger was shot in mid-August 1934, my late father-in-law, a future Chicago police sergeant, went down to the Biograph Theater and saw women taking their handkerchiefs and dipping them in the blood of Dillinger.
Yeah.
And there are all sorts of rumors about things that are preserved in Dillinger's body and all that. He was had a strange hold on this country. There's a famous newsreel where he's got his hand on the warden's shoulder, and he's right at that's Crown Point,
I believe
Indiana.
it was one of the DAs,
yes,
actually, who lost his job, I believe.
Is all that going to be recreated? Yes. And how long does it take you to shed somebody like that, who is a character who is just public enemy number one? When do you put them aside and go on to something else? You still feel them inside you?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you know, I didn't have much time to shed him on this one because I was moving on to something literally 4 days after finishing on that one. But during the whole filming and in the preparation beforehand, and like I said, with meeting with the family, and they gave me so much correspondence and so much information on the man, then you know, he was deeply ingrained throughout. And he's a fascinating character. You could make a whole movie just on Melvin Purvis himself.
You just talked about leaving one role and going right to another with 2 or 3 days. Some actors love that. They thrive on that. Other actors say, I don't want to be in a trailer right away. I want to live a normal life. Does it depend on what comes along and when you're obligated to do it?
It does depend. I generally don't like it, you know. It was just you know, it was a lot to do with the writer's strike and everything like that. And schedules just got forced, but no, usually I like to have a lot of time in between.
Did they tell you they were shooting scenes in IMAX, or was it afterwards you knew about it?
Oh, you can't ignore that. The cameras are huge and very noisy. You know, you know when it's IMAX.
And you're standing on the edge of the building. I mean, if I were there, 2 words: don't fall, don't slip. What went through your mind? It was an astonishing shot. What was going through your mind?
It started off as don't fall, don't slip, and after a while it was I want to make everybody as nervous back in the video village as possible, because you get very used to it very, very fast. And so after a while I was leaning way out over it. I was walking up and down. I was strolling around, trying to make everybody as nervous as possible. It was quite uncanny and maybe dangerous how quickly I got comfortable being up there.
Okay, Harold Lloyd did his stunts with no nets underneath. There was was there
well,
something there?
There were no nets underneath, but I did have a cable. And so I could have fallen, but I would have just kind of banged into some windows and shocked some office employees, and that would have been it.
I must say, I wouldn't be candid with you if I didn't tell you the film's pretty violent for young people. I saw it 7 or 8 year old kids in the screening.
You think violent, or you think that it delves deep into some ethical questions that perhaps make the audience uncomfortable?
The adult audience, yes, but I saw 7-year-olds there. And it's not comic book violence. It's not Biff Ben Zowie like the TV show.
Right.
It's serious violence.
Yep.
That concern you at all?
You know what? Parents, just be responsible parents, and maybe you're going to have a conversation with them afterwards about it. But certainly, this movie delves into deep, dark places.
I read a quote where you said, if they make another movie with Batman, that's my role, baby. No way, no how. Nobody else is going to get it.
Yeah, well, of course I feel that way. I've created this new vision of Batman, along with Chris Nolan. And, of course, I feel like it is my baby, and I wouldn't want anyone else stepping into those shoes.
Well said by Christian Bale, who is going to be Batman forever, but he's coming in several new movies, including one about John Dillinger, in which he plays the guy who got him, Melvin Purvis. It's nice to see you. Thanks for coming back.
Nice seeing you too, Jeffrey.